What would be harmful?
Paternity testing, like if they found out the child's dad was not the guy that she was with, like that would be breaking their family apart.
From a mandatory place. I mean, I see your point.
I don't.
What about the truth?
No, I think the truth is great. I think, absolutely, everyone should know the truth. But I think it's going to be terrible for the children if the truth is revealed.
You're in favor?
That's what I'm saying.
With
the way a lot of women are moving nowadays, they're like a lot of children aren't going to be having dads anymore.
So it would be bad for women, but you don't object to paternity testing.
No, not at all. I'm for it.
So you acknowledge? Okay, I see. Mm-hmm. Are you in favor of that, Andrew? It sounds like.
Oh yeah. I think that the rates of paternity, which are lied about, is wildly understated. And absolutely. I think that if mandatory paternity testing was done, there would be significant problems for women, but the kind of problems that I think they should see, which is responsibility. Forever inside of human society, men did not have this.
Right.
We'd never had the luxury of we had to always take the word of the woman as to paternity. We don't have to do that now, and we absolutely shouldn't do it now. And even if it's not mandatory, everybody should get one no matter what, always. Period.
And just
course. And I have I have what I would consider 100% faith and trust in my wife. Mm-hmm. But I told her, I told her these words exactly. You're going to get the fucking test, and if not, I'm out the door. Period.
Well, also, that's not emotional abuse.
Yeah.
Well, there also that would be considered emotional abuse. Exactly.
How is that 100% trust and faith? I mean, it's your prerogative to do that. But
okay, well, it's not for her; it's for me.
Yeah. Well, it's also there are also cases where like the hospital will jumble up babies.
No, it's not.
It's as much trust as I can give you.
Trust.
It's as much trust as I can give.
Yes, because you can't confirm that. There's no way for a man to confirm that.
That's not trust.
Well, where's the trust back the other way? Just being like, okay, yeah, no problem.
Wait, Andrew.
If there was ever any resistance,
that's how that works. That's how trust works.
Yeah.
What is the what's the pitch to how would you say that? Because I feel like if I were to say that to a girl, I could see her like my wife or when I'm having kids.
What could she?
Paternity test.
Possible argument could a woman have towards asking you to get a paternity test other than it makes her feel bad?
If she's unfaithful.
Or like you don't trust her.
Other than it makes her feel bad. What could the argument possibly be? Give me a single argument other than because it makes me feel bad. I want to hear it.
But why would you want to make her feel bad?
So that's I feel bad.
If you're worried that she'd be cheating on you, why would you even want to?
So that's I feel bad. It's really. I feel bad.
I'm saying clearly we don't have a strong foundation. Sorry.
That's I feel bad.
No, it's not. It's saying we don't have a strong foundation.
Why would that matter if it didn't make one of them feel bad?
Because she could say if we don't have a strong foundation of trust and faith.
Because it makes her feel bad.
No, she could feel neutral about it and still be like, okay,
so
he
if
doesn't trust me.
Wait a second.
And maybe he's gonna be constantly
if she
anxious
feels neutral about it, if she feels neutral about it,
if she
feels neutral about it, who cares?
Let her finish her point.
Say your point.
If she feels neutral about it, then who cares?
I'm saying if you don't have trust in a relationship, typically that will lead to a bad relationship, regardless if the parties in the relationship feel bad about it or not. That was my only point.
Yeah, but that's the only argument is feel bad.
No, it's not. I literally said it doesn't matter if they feel bad or
because
not. She can object and say clearly we don't have a strong foundation.
38 donated $200. Love your hair, Maddie. GL with your marriage. Brian, love the Andrew marathon. Shout out Crucible.
Yo, go sub this
Farha as
Crucible.
my wife. KTHX.
Okay, thanks. Yo, Bone Man, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Welcome. Good to see you back in the chat, man. Go ahead, Farha, with your point.
I completed it.
Yeah, so
she completed it.
The only reason that the trust variable is there is because it would make one feel bad over the other. That's it. So the only argument you would make for the trust is you don't trust me, and that Farha? You don't trust me, and that makes me.
But it doesn't have to make you feel bad.
Then why would it matter? Why would it matter?
The basis of a relationship.
It's a foundation relationship.
Because if it's not, and why is it a foundation?
Okay, what about this?
It's based on how people feel.
Maybe you don't care or not. You're completely apathetic to whether your wife cheats on you, but maybe you still don't want her to do that, even if you have no emotional reaction to it, because you think that creates an unstable foundation for a relationship.
Then
even if you're completely apathetic and maybe you're a cuck and you get off to it.
Then why would you care about the paternity test? How would that be an argument if it's just a neutral?
You were saying, what is an objection to your boyfriend asking you for a paternity test?
Yeah,
and I'm saying you could say, we're missing an important tenet of our relationship, an important pillar that isn't contingent on me feeling good or bad about it. That was my only point.
Then if you don't feel good or bad about it, why would it be an important pillar?
Same way I told you, maybe if your wife's cheating on you, but you don't necessarily care, wouldn't you agree that that could have adverse effects on the relationship, regardless about how you feel about it personally?
Those would be like the adverse effects that you would be talking about, are like her getting pregnant.
No, not necessarily.
Her giving you a VD.
Even if she was infertile.
Her giving you VD.
What is that?
Venereal disease.
I don't think those would be your only objections to your wife stepping out on you.
I think how that makes you feel, then I don't understand the objective.
You're religious. From your Christian purview, you could probably outline a plethora of reasons for why you wouldn't want your girlfriend or wife to be sleeping with other people, other than it makes you feel bad. You'd probably think it, has adverse outcomes.
Yes, that's
on the
true. I could
relationship.
appeal to an objective standard. Yes.
Yes, and most people in relationships
what
appeal
objective
to
standard are you appealing to?
usually the tenets of trust in a relationship.
That's not an objective standard. It's a subjective standard.
Most relationships subscribe to that. Obviously, people can deviate from that. But
that's a subjective standard. And at the end of the day, the only reason you appeal to that subjective standard is because if I don't trust you and you don't trust me, one of us feels bad.
I just told you there's many instances where you might not feel
There's
bad.
not
but
a
you still might have
single
a
one of
standard.
those that doesn't really boil down to it made the other person feel bad.
And so in your opinion, feel bad. He just disagrees.
No, you even created a hypothetical neutral. So you said, hypothetically, what if neutrally it didn't make you feel bad for your wife to go out and do this thing? What would be her objection?
Okay, what if I found out my husband cheated on me and I genuinely have zero emotional reaction to it, but I still want to dump him? Did I dump him because it makes me feel bad, or because I feel like we don't have a strong foundation, because there's dishonesty and there's a lack of trust?
I don't understand. Why do you want the honesty and the trust inside of the relationship if you don't care if he cheats?
It's not about don't care. I can care without it making me feel bad.
Yeah, but okay, so you care, but it doesn't make you feel bad?
That could happen, yeah.
How?
You can't control your emotional response to something. Maybe you find out someone cheats on you, or you found out your husband, texted another girl, and you're like, okay, this violates my boundaries.
And you would care about that because it makes you feel bad.
People have boundaries that aren't always directly, purely correlated to their feelings about it.
Oh, really? So if guy is texting and you don't care, that means...
It's not about don't care. It maybe doesn't make me feel bad.
Oh, if it doesn't make you feel bad, then you don't care, right?
I don't agree with that.
You don't?
No.
So you care if a guy's texting another person even if it doesn't make you feel bad?
I would still care. Even if in that moment I felt apathetic about it, I would still end the relationship. Even if I personally didn't cry about it.
Even though you didn't care?
Even if I didn't cry about it, or
why
feel
would you
sad
do
or
anything?
insecure.
Why would you do anything at all if you didn't care?
Right.
That makes no sense. That's the stupidest thing I've heard out of you tonight. Why would you do anything if you didn't care?
Because reversely, I wouldn't set boundaries purely based on how I feel about it. So for instance, if I was overly jealous about my husband having a female coworker, I wouldn't then say, quit your job because this makes me feel bad. So it goes both ways.
But that's something you care about.
Okay, but
yes, it's both ways.
I get what you're saying, but hypothetically, what you're saying is you can have values without having emotion tied to those values.
Yes.
And
typically they are correlated, but not always. So the same way I can, value honesty and trust, and maybe I have a visceral reaction to you having a female coworker, and that could be irrational. So I'm not going to deduce my boundaries from my emotions, and likewise, I'm not going to always deduce
where does
my
that
emotions
happen, though?
from the boundaries.
Where does that actually happen, especially in the context of a relationship?
Yeah, the
My
distinction
husband
here
having a female coworker?
Well, the distinction here is
Me
still
feeling
care.
irrationally jealous about my husband having a female coworker, it happens every day.
The distinction here is care. So what
you
you're
said
doing
irrationally.
is no, sorry. Go ahead, man. Sorry.
What?
You said irrationally. You feeling
That was
irrational.
my whole point. I can have rational boundaries and standards that don't always correlate to whether I feel good or bad, because people feel bad all the time about things that are irrational, such as your husband having a female coworker.
Yes.
So I wouldn't then say, don't do this thing because it makes me feel bad. So that was my whole point.
Yes, you can. I'm saying you can't in this context. So the problem that you made with this particular hypothetical, when you reverse it, you introduce care. And I'm saying, fine, you can introduce care. It works in that hypothetical. The opposition hypothetical doesn't, because I'm claiming that any of the standards that you would appeal to for why you would not take that test are going to appeal to care and therefore feel bad.
I disagree, and I already laid it out.
Nope, you gave me a hypothetical where you just reintroduced the word care again and said, in this case, if I did care, then blah, blah, blah.
I was saying people set boundaries in relationships that are completely disparate from whether they feel good or bad. So same way, again, I may feel bad
agree.
if my husband has a female coworker. I'm not going to then say you can only work with men, or you can only go to an all-male gym.
Yes.
And likewise, I might say, don't
works.
text other girls, and don't text other girls, but whether I break up with you isn't going to be contingent on whether when I find out, I cry about it or not.
No.
Because
Why
I
don't
can still
you
feel
wait?
disrespect.
Whether you cry,
disrespect is maybe the variable here.
Yeah, before you even cry about it, why did you set the standard to begin with?
Because of certain values in the relationship.
Because things you care about.
That's what I was saying.
care about,
That-
but not feel good or bad.
That's
You
what I
said
was-
whether
That
it just
is
hurts her feelings.
How could you care about it if you don't feel good or bad about
I
it?
just explained how.
No,
ad
you really
nauseam.
didn't. In this context, that doesn't work. Why would you set the standards if you didn't care about the standards because you felt good or bad about the standard?
Because I could
Yeah,
think there's certain. Shut up. I could think there's certain pillars. Sorry. I could think there's. I could think there's certain pillars that breed a stronger
Get out,
relationship,
no, I'm kidding.
regardless of whether or not I personally feel good or bad about it. And I know you agree
Then
with
why
that.
do you care about the stronger pillar?
Because I want a strong relationship.
Because you care about it?
Because you value the relationship. You wanted to have.
Because you care about it.
I didn't say care wasn't a variable. I said feeling good or bad.
And I'm saying you can't have the feel good or
Good or bad,
bad.
yeah.
If you care about something, you have to have the feel good or bad.
Yeah.
I gave you an example in which you don't. That doesn't have to be the case with the
No,
coworker.
you actually didn't. What you do in that example is you just say, yes, in that case, for care, I
Can
do
you
feel
close the
good or
door?
bad, and then I set reasonable boundaries. But
No,
then when
I said you don't. You don't deduce the boundaries from feeling good or bad.
I think you do.
Nobody does that.
Everyone does that.
Everybody does
Every
it.
jealous
Farha.
jealous wife says you can't work with other women.
No. But the reason that they would say that or
Is
not
because
say
they
that is
care.
because they
They
care
care.
about it. And so, therefore, the fact that they care about it is why they set the boundary for good, or it makes me feel good or it makes me feel bad because I care about it.
Yeah, the emotion is
No,
going to be
because I'm
present
saying they
Yes.
still
regardless.
feel bad about it, but they still let their husband work with other women because they realize
Yes,
that's not
but
going to
that
have
doesn't mean
adverse
they don't
outcomes on
feel
the
bad about
relationship.
it. The reason that they could still feel bad about it and allow it, but they still feel bad.
I know you see my point.
And I'm saying that from your perspective, in this particular case, why shouldn't a man or why shouldn't a woman take the paternity test if a man asks her to, other than, I feel bad that you asked me to do that?
And I told you why. Her feelings are regardless of the fact that maybe she wants to have a
Irregardless?
strong pillar of having trust and faith in the relationship. Same way, maybe I don't personally feel good or bad if my boyfriend says, share your location with me. But maybe I'll say like, okay, but if you don't trust me, then this probably isn't going to be like a sustained relationship for a long period of time.
And okay, the word trust there, doing a lot of heavy lifting for your point. So I feel
lot of
like
heavy lifting.
I
I'm
feel
not
like
even
you
saying,
wouldn't
I'm not
trust.
even
Hang on,
saying I
let
dispute
me
the
finish.
fact.
I just let you
no,
talk.
I just want to say I'm not even disputing the fact or like the sorry of requesting a paternity test. You were just asking what are some other objections.
Yeah, but
I
even-
think it's your prerogative to ask.
But even in that, you're using the word trust there. It's doing a lot of heavy lifting for your argument. Am I to assume that you care about trust then?
Yes, I never
Okay,
said
so hang on,
care is
Dan,
not a
Dan,
variable.
stop,
I said
stop,
feeling
stop,
good
stop,
or
stop,
bad.
Stop. Why would you care about the
Stop.
trust? Why would you care about the trust?
Because having a strong sense of trust in a relationship leads to a healthier relationship, regardless of whether I feel good or bad. So even though I may feel bad about the fact that my husband has a female coworker, if I have a strong sense of trust, that takes precedence over my feelings of good or bad.
Yeah, okay. Forget the absent analogy. Inside of your relationship, without qualifiers, right? Without going just like just answer this single question.
What's so funny, Brian?
Just answer this single.
No, Brian, tell me what's so funny.
No,
Is that what I sound like to you?
Farha, answer this single.
focus.
Just answer
Focus.
this single question. Trust inside of this hypothetical. Okay, inside of your own hypothetical.
The paternity one or the
the
which
paternity one, which is doing all the heavy lifting here. The word trust there implies you care. We agree, right?
That you care about trust.
Yeah.
Yes.
And do you care about the trust because if you can't trust the other person, right, it would elicit a negative feeling
No.
in you? No.
No.
Okay.
Wow.
And there's nothing I can do.
Nothing he can do. There's nothing.
What do you
he
mean,
can
wow? Do you have a rebuttal?
It doesn't make sense.
It literally does.